go.
How is it going today, Lord? Let's know it's Dwayne.
Jasmine.
We're Dwayne and Jazz. We have 27 horror stories animated compilation of September 2020. We're gonna get that by Wansee, by the way, entertainment.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get that October, probably next month. Maybe I'm not sure. Anyway, we're gonna get it eventually.
When is this one from?
This is says September.
Oh.
But they posted in October.
Okay, got it.
So I'm pretty sure next month we're
like,
gonna get October. But anyway, I know that's confusing, y'all. Anyway, let's just get into it. If you guys have extra requests, please follow us on social media and the link in the show. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's dive on in. My friend was possessed by someone in front of my eyes.
What?
Jesus.
This happened to me when I was around 14 years old. I was at a sort of religious class located far from our main school building. I was drawing my cartoon characters, waiting for my teacher. However, an hour had passed and he didn't come. One of my classmates went out to see what was wrong, and it turned out that our teacher didn't arrive yet. So we had to wait a bit longer. After she told us that information, we continued waiting. I started drawing again until one of my friends, Aina, suddenly pulled on my sleeve and whispered, "Something is wrong with CT." I looked at CT, who was sitting at the back with the loud group. She wasn't saying anything or laughing. Well, it was quite weird seeing her like that, because she was the one who always talked a lot in that group. And then I saw that she was holding a small piece of black cardboard and a pocket knife. Since we had an art class
nobody
that
else
day,
is gonna
I
be
thought
like,
that
what's
she
that?
might have been doing her homework at first.
With
But
a pocket
I froze
knife?
when I glanced at her the second time. She started carving something on the cardboard, and very aggressively. I couldn't see what she was carving, but she then woke up, went outside the classroom, and stood there staring at something.
Excuse me?
Aina poked my shoulder, signaling that I should check out CT's cardboard. So I sneakily went to her seat to grab the piece of cardboard she left on
Real
the
friend
table
right there,
and
boy.
went back to my seat. As soon as we flipped the cardboard over, we got goosebumps all over our bodies. Something was written on it.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it. No.
We didn't disturb
That's a
them.
demon sound.
They disturb us in our language. Aina and I looked at each other. When I got up to return the piece of cardboard, CT was already in her seat and stared at me with a scrutinizing look on her face.
So nobody else?
I sat down and slid the piece of cardboard under my desk. All of a sudden, I had the sudden urge to know what the heck was going on. So I got up and went towards her with Aina. "Hey CT, how's it going?" I asked. But she didn't answer my question. Then I could hear Aina whispering the Lord's Prayer, and my fear alarm started buzzing again. Then Aina tried to talk to CT, but for some reason, she suddenly shuddered. And I knew the reason.
Why?
CT started to mumble the exact words that she had carved onto the cardboard, but this time her voice changed.
Type of mess, some demon
She sounded like a demon.
Time to go.
And nobody in the class notices this? Oh, God.
Her mumbling was getting louder, and now she began to scream while shaking her whole body.
Time to go.
Everybody in the class stood on their seats and watched.
I'm out of there.
With fear.
Y'all better than me.
Before
I'm gone.
long, CT suddenly stopped, dropped her face slowly down on the desk, and began to sleep. I quickly returned to my seat and tried to take out the cardboard.
It's not there no more.
It was not there. I searched all over the classroom, even inside of the bin, but it was gone. The next morning, I went to CT and asked her what she was doing in class yesterday, and she replied, I was sleeping during the whole class." "You sure?" I asked again, but she said yes, nodding her head. Was my friend possessed? Could it be real? And what she told me next made my face turn white.
You were the one that were actually asleep.
What?
Oh yeah. While I was sleeping yesterday, I was at some church, and I saw a very beautiful stained glass window with a nun. I wonder who that nun was, though.
Okay.
So nobody was like...
Nobody
saw
left
that, like,
first
nobody...
of all, I would have left
This is the story that
if
happened to
the,
me a
if the
few
teacher
years
didn't
ago.
come.
Yes.
Two, I'm not
I was
sitting there
studying for
watching
the
you do
civil
it.
service examination. I came up to the big city to study, and while I was looking for the house to stay, I met one house owner. The middle-aged lady was so kind, and the rent price of the room was extremely cheap in comparison with the price at
There's
that time.
probably a reason for that.
All of my
So.
friends opposed and said the price is too cheap. They also told me to reconsider it, but my mind was urgent, so I just made a contract right away. The room was pretty big, and the window was also wide enough so that I was satisfied with my room. But a few days later, a strange smell began to come up from under my bed.
I bet.
At first,
corpse,
it
I
was
bet.
endurable, but the odor was getting worse, so I couldn't sleep at all in my bed. I eventually begged the owner and ended up moving
Came back.
to the next room, which was far away from this room. Since that day, whoever moves to that room, they all moved out again because of the smell.
Yeah.
A few people visited in a few days, and I heard the conversation between those people and the owner while they were taking out all the stuff and removed the wallpapers in the room. Ma'am, we had told you that it would stink. If you'd have done what we said last time, well, you'd have spent less money.
Oh.
And then she answered embarrassedly, I didn't know it was going to be like this. They then began to remove the floor, change the cement, and finally changed the whole room completely.
Okay. Thought they was gonna
Until
find
then,
something.
I thought we were just remodeling the house. But after I heard the story of the room from the other people who lived around here, I eventually realized that I was totally wrong.
What?
It is said that a few months ago, one student committed suicide in the room.
Oh my
And the
God.
owner at that time, she ignored the cleaning company's word that she had to reapply the cement to remove the smell that had seeped into the floor. So she just chose wiping off the blood of the body by reason that it was expensive.
Oh my goodness.
The cement looks hard just by looking at it. But because of the porosity, it's known that the cement has lots of small holes like sponges. But what if someone was murdered or the dead body was left unattended for a few days?
For a while.
Yeah.
When the blood or such thing flows
Seeps in.
downwards, it starts to rot inside and then stinks. In addition, if the dead body is left unattended for a few days, the waste begins to come out and the fat flows out when it starts to decay.
Yep.
Like the blood and the waste are hard to clean, as you know. As soon as the smell penetrates through the concrete hole, you would not be able to get rid of the bad smell no matter what you do. Therefore, it's said that cement should be removed altogether because the smell would not be gone of this kind of house. Although I wasn't staying in that room at that time, I kept feeling uncomfortable, so I eventually ended up moving a while later. I would like to say this to those who are currently looking for the new house.
Don't go for cheap.
Even if a newly plastered house smells, or if you found any signs of partially cement floor, especially when the house is old, be careful. Because I'm sure that something would have happened in that house already.
So that was more like a warning story.
That was,
than
yeah,
like
I learned something.
like a scary story.
Yeah, scary story. I definitely learned something from that. 3 short scary stories. The pictures in the
This happened to my older brother.
Little by little,
When he was a college student, he joined a mountain climbing club. One day, he went climbing in the high mountains located in South Korea with 3 of his club members.
Okay.
The mountain was so high up that they couldn't climb all the way up in just a day. So they decided to stop by one of the mountain cabins in the mountainside and take a rest.
No.
It was a 2-story cabin, and unfortunately, the electricity was disconnected
Of
that
course
day.
it was. Yeah, nah.
Well, you know, people usually don't go to sleep early on days like that. So my brother and his friends drank a lot of alcohol, turned on a flashlight, and accidentally lit it up towards the wall. On the wall, there were framed pictures of the 1st, 2nd, and other mountain guards.
Why they all like
Everyone was
zombies?
giggling
What, they're
because
dead
of the
now?
face in one of the pictures. Then they fell asleep. The next morning, when my brother woke up, he noticed that 2 of the club members had already gone down the mountain, and there was only one left behind. He had fainted and froth was coming out of his
Oh
mouth.
my god.
He looked around in confusion, wondering what was going on.
Right.
He saw something he
played
could
you.
not believe. The cabin was surrounded by small windows. Well,
That
then,
wasn't
what
pictures.
the heck was there last night?
That
were
was
people.
Were
windows
photo
of
frames
people
were
looking at
actually
them.
windows.
Oh
The
no.
photo by my mom's
When
body.
I was
Oh
a
my
little
God,
girl,
that's- oh
I was scared of sleeping alone. So I used to sleep with my mom. Eventually, I had to toughen up and sleep by myself.
Sleep alone.
Yep.
Well, this happened when I was in high school. I had a twin-sized bed in my room
Oh,
and decided to
same.
leave both my door and my mom's door open. Our bodies were facing opposite directions. I couldn't sleep that night, so I turned on my MP3 player and was laying in bed listening to music.
That's what I do.
All of a sudden, I felt a little strange, so I turned my head around, and at that moment, I froze. I saw a person's foot on my mom's body.
What?
First of all, if someone gets too nervous, it's hard to look around clearly. However, I slowly
hanging?
looked up, and then I saw the face of the person standing
no, he's
on
floating.
my body.
Uh-uh.
Literally, someone was standing on my mom's body.
Looks like he's floating.
Well, it was the worst thing I've ever seen. I wanted to turn my head around again, but I couldn't. I couldn't open my mouth or even listen to music anymore. I couldn't take my eyes off his
He'll turn to
face.
you.
His mouth was stretching and getting bigger and bigger until eventually it ripped right under his ear. I
Ugh.
could see that the inside of his mouth was all red. I wanted to wake my mom up somehow, so I gathered up enough courage as I could. Mom! As soon as I yelled, everything disappeared like smoke. She ran into my room, hugged me,
Like,
and
what's
reassured
going
me
on?
that everything was okay.
Uh-uh.
I was leaning on her now, so that I could calm down. Soon after, I put my earphones back
That's a
in
David
and
Knight
turned
in
on
your
my
room.
MP3 player.
And saw it
And that
again.
moment was really crazy and just plain scary. All of my files were gone.
He said
I
no more
had
music
around
for you.
300 songs on the device.
300?
But all the songs
Oh,
were
no.
lost for no reason.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't sleep at all that night.
He said no
and
more
still
music for
felt
you,
bad
snitch.
even after waking up the next morning. So I ended up breaking my MP3 player. Well, why did my music files disappear?
That goes to Savage, bro. That's the ghost
I
word.
used to wear a lot of wigs for my job.
Oh my god.
Oh my
One
goodness.
day I needed a short bob cut wig, so I bought one and kept it at my house for a while. But then something strange happened. The next day, my mom suddenly came into my room and said this. Hey, why do you keep calling me? Huh? What are you talking
What?
about, Mom? I haven't called you once. I
Uh-oh.
replied to her, but she insisted that she kept hearing my voice.
You
It
didn't
was
hear me.
kind of weird, but soon I ended up thinking that she was just hearing things or hallucinating. A few days later, while I was eating dinner with my mom and watching a TV drama, we heard a small voice. Mommy! What the? I stood up, and what made things scarier was the voice
Mommy.
sounding exactly like mine. At
Ooh.
first,
Oh,
I
no.
thought I misheard it, but I kept hearing the sound. I grabbed my mom's hand.
Time to get out.
Yeah.
Followed the direction the
Oh.
sound
Oh, you're going towards it?
Do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell
no,
no.
we're
As I
gonna
was getting
gotta
closer
go.
to the shoe rack near the front door, I realized the sound seemed to be coming from it. It was at that moment. Mom! The loud sound in my ears surprised me so much that my heart almost dropped. Well, eventually I went back to my room and fell asleep,
Y'all brave.
failing to reveal the cause of the sound. That night, I had a dream. In my dream, little girls were jumping rope and moving in slow motion.
Oh,
like
no.
in a
Oh, no.
horror movie.
Not no Freddy Cougar mess.
I couldn't see their faces because the children's faces were all blurry as if they were
Yeah, those
covered
bob
by
cuts
fog.
though.
However, as soon as I tried to reach them, they looked at me at the same time. At that moment, I had no choice but to scream. Their fronts and backs were all covered by a bob cut hairstyle.
Bro.
Well, I had the same dream for a few more days.
We got a
My mom and I concluded that there was something wrong with the bob cut wig that I bought. Eventually, I
Holding the
burned the
trash.
wig.
She burned it too.
Strangely enough, everything returned to normal after I burned the wig.
Oh my god.
Demon wig.
It was a cursed wig. Okay, we gonna end it right here.
Imagine a wig on you. You said they turned around and I just saw bob cuts.
I know. It's the way that she made it sound. It sounded like she was roasting more than like
And
telling
that's
us.
why I was laughing at some parts because she goes, Mom, I've never been so scared in my life. She said, so I had no choice but to scream.
Like they're trying to be like mellow. They're not trying to.
I mean,
like,
if you gonna shout, like at least shout or
I know.
something, do something. So that's why
I
I was laughing.
I
at
was
some
just laughing
parts.
because all I saw was Bob's haircuts.
And they were uneven.
And they were uneven. Oh, oh, oh.
They had the bang.
The bang. I'm sorry, our humor. I'm sorry, ruining it for y'all. Our, we got like a sense of humor, even if it's supposed to be like scary stuff. It's just funny. Oh my god!
Right.
I still want to know about that story about the guy that's foaming from the mouth. Whatever happened to him? Did he just die?
Yeah, one of the homies passed out.
And they just framed the other homie. He's the imposter.
Look,
He's
they
sus.
said, look,
He's hella
they said,
sus.
look, we woke up before he did, okay? The other one is probably dead. We gotta go. Because when he wakes up, he gonna think he did it. So, let's go.
He was up there by himself.
We'll be like,
we went to
if
go
he
down
asks
there.
us, if he asks us what happened, we're gonna be like, I don't know. He was cool when we woke up. Must have been something you did.
So he's hella sus. He's the imposter. Vote him out. Anyway, guys, comment below. Let us know what you think.
Don't get to like
Subscribe.
share.